Thanks for being here. It's really good to see everybody. Happy New Year. Hope that you and your schools and your students are all doing well. I'm really excited about today's webinar. We've got Lin learning with us. You might recognize Lin from Summer Fest, and then a few new faces from Odyssey today. At the end of today's webinar, Elliot's going to give us a couple updates. And then, if there's time and if you're so inclined, we'd love to hear from you and, hear about what's going on in your school. To start out with, I would love to introduce Maria Esparza. Amazing, right? So Maria is working with Andrea and the Skunk Work team on the BPLiving website, and also working with me as part of her LTI project. So for the rest of the school year, Maria will be coordinating these webinars, reaching out to students at Odyssey to get content and inspiration. So I'm going to hand it over to Maria, and I hope that you all enjoy today.
So a lot of you guys probably already know, but I'm Maria. Part of the reason why I'm honestly interested in this because it's interesting to see other people's perspectives and things, and like get to connect with people I don't normally talk to and have them do a presentation on ways they deal with these measures. Our first presenter will be Lin. Lin, if you want to get your presentation set up, and the floor is yours.
I'm Lin, and the topic that I'm going to be talking about a little bit or presenting is the topic of stress and stress relief. I think around these times we've experienced like a lot of stress for maybe different reasons and whatnot, but it's still very important to cope with our stress and make sure that it doesn't get a little too intense. Paul, do you think you could show the video? Thank you.
Absolutely, and you might recognize Lin's work from Summerfest. Lin put together a video on the importance of sleep previously that lives on the BPLiving website.
Last year sure was something, am I right? And last year sure was something, am I right? Was certainly memorable, to say the least, for various reasons. It was a stressful year for a lot of us. Yes, stress is a normal part of life, but last year, stress seemed like a bigger issue than it did in previous years. In this video, I will talk to you about stress and methods you can use to overcome it. To quote medlineplus.gov, stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension. Stress can be caused by various events or thoughts that have you feeling nervous, frustrated, or angry. Examples of these events consist of being unhappy in your marriage, having a great deal of debt, trying to live up to high expectations, or trying to complete a test that you didn't study for. Stress can have detrimental effects on not only your body, but your mood and overall behavior. According to mayoclinic.org, some of the effects of stress on your physical and emotional health consist of headaches, fatigue, muscle tension, anxiety, restlessness, feeling overwhelmed, angry outbursts, and social withdrawal. Now, just like myself, I'm sure you've had your fair share of stress and some of the effects that come from experiencing stress. I think it's safe to say that we know that the effects of stress aren't pretty or enjoyable. We want to take care of ourselves as much as we possibly can, which is why it is so important that we manage our stress as much as we can. A few ways we can manage our stress would be from exercising, practicing meditation or yoga, and giving ourselves some time to indulge in our hobbies. If you find that these methods don't seem to help or even get you frustrated, don't be afraid to give yourself a break and try again at a later time. If you find that your stress is getting worse, don't hesitate to talk about it with your doctor or with family or friends that you trust. Stress is a real pain, but with the help of these methods, you can better manage your stress and take further steps to self-care. Thank you for watching this video. I know it was short, but I hope you were able to get enough information about stress and maybe even learn some new methods that you could use to, help combat it. Good luck on your journey. Ooh, man.
All right.
I'm gonna have to come back because I need to restart my computer because my camera's not working. Okay, I'll be right back.
Thanks, Samara.
All right, well, any questions for Lynn or comments?
Do you have any revisions, or have you learned new things since you put that together? Things that you would add if you're going to revise it?
I haven't learned anything new since I wrote the script or recorded it, but I did learn more when I was trying to research all this. I mean, I already knew that about some of the detrimental effects that, you know, stress can have on your physical and emotional health. But I learned a little bit more about what it does, like the muscle tension, like as an example.
Sure, thank you.
I just wanted to say it's a great example of the kind of work I think we're looking for the website. It's super engaging, fun graphics. You did a really nice job with that. Was that Pitbull in there? I think I saw Pitbull.
Yeah.
But it was also a really good combination between just like relating to people, you know, your audience, and just talking about things we all go through, and adding in some sort of scientific data that about real impact of stress and how people might be able to do.
Thank you.
I had a question. So as you created the video, did you feel like it was therapeutic for you, or was helpful to you in any way as a way to like help process or to put into words and images what you have been feeling?
I think so. Video editing has been like just a really fun thing for me to do in like previous times. And then getting an opportunity like this one to make another video that was like informational and fun. It was just, I'd say it was therapeutic, especially with making the backgrounds.
Yeah, so it helped your stress level as you talked about it. You were able to put into words your experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My camera's still not working. It's saying it's not detecting a camera.
That's no problem, Samara. When your time is up, will you still be able to share your presentation if you can share your screen?
Yeah, I can share my screen and everything, but it's just my camera's not turning on at all.
Okay. Yeah, no problem for us.
Okay.
Lynn, did you share the videos that you made with the rest of the school yet?
No.
I think that they're great, and you should do that.
Thank you. I think the only one that has been shared with the school was the one on sleep.
You know, sharing it and then having students in advisory really pay attention to those two measures, which sometimes get put in the background because exercise and eating kind of are more interesting to people. They're all equally as valuable to pay attention to. Is great that you picked those. Why did you pick those two?
Sleep and stress relief.
Yeah.
Those two were always things that I used to struggle with a lot. I mean, I still struggle with them. Just I've been able to control it a little less. With sleep, I saw that a lot of my friends weren't getting a lot of sleep, and I kind of used to get a lot of sleep, and I kind of just felt a little left out. I know it was like really dumb, but it was in middle school, so then I kind of just started staying up a little bit more, just to be like, I don't know, like to get the experience, and then I wasn't able to go to sleep earlier, and then I had an issue with that. So that video on sleep was kind of just inspired by that little weird thing. And then for stress, I have experienced a lot of stress and feeling overwhelmed and whatnot. And I've been able to control a little more, and I thought maybe making a video on that might be able to help students out. I know that a lot of students over here still have like overdue homework and whatnot. They get stressed, so maybe the video can help them out.
Absolutely. I think it's great. And a lot of times schools are the stressor, not the stress reliever. Sometimes they're the stress reliever. And having the school deal with how it's causing the stress and how to alleviate it and mitigate it are really good topics for adults to discuss who have controls over some of the program in school. and what they're doing and how to deal with students. So it's a really good wake-up call for all of us. How long did it take you to make that video? Did you learn any from, I remember that you don't come at this from being a videographer. You learned all your skills as you were doing it, if I'm right?
Yeah. It originally took me like a month-ish, but then something went wrong with exporting it. So I kind of had to restart it. So I say I did it maybe like less than a week-ish.
All right. Yeah, no, they're great. Did you make that character? Is that I couldn't hear what Andrew said. Maybe he asked that.
The Animal Crossing one is my own. Everyone else, I think, are either real people or I think they're either real people or fictional characters. I already forgot what kind of characters I used, but the one that was just seen a lot throughout the video was mine.
So you made that one up. Very cool. All right. You hear that, Andrea?
Yeah, I did. I love it. I mean, so I love these. I loved your sleep video as well. I think that was the first video we posted on our website. And I'll tell you, my husband's a videographer and a video editor, and I show him your guys' videos and he loves it. Like, this is eye-catching. This, like, the movement and the pacing. It's awesome.
Man, thank you. And for the rest of my videos, I have them unlisted, but if you just check out like the channel that I post them on, they have like playlists, and then in those playlists you can view the rest.
Awesome.
I like the question in the chat that asked if this is a video that you would be willing to share with other schools so that we could use it as an example.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it could always be used like as an example or just to like inform other students about some of the measures.
How would we do that? How would we access your video?
I think maybe for the video, Paul put it in the link, or Paul put the video link in the chat. And then from there you will just go to the channel and then go to my playlists.
Also going to be posted on the website.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's going to, okay, I see it
Yeah,
here.
the sleep is already posted there. And stress will be as well if you send it along. And that's the whole idea. Absolutely. We want all students from all over to post their work and get inspired by other students' work.
I was also thinking it might be cool to do maybe a Q&A, like a quick and easy fun blog with you on like how you got these ideas, like your journey.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd be willing to do that, the Q&A thing.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. What grade are you in?
I'm in 11th grade.
Okay.
All right, well, our next presenter is Emanuel, and he is my brother. He is also an 11th grader. Emanuel, take the floor.
Good morning, guys. My topics it's gonna be about secondhand smoking and how that affects people's, mostly infants and children's life throughout while they're growing up. Let me find the slides. Hopefully it works. So, welcome to my presentation about smoking in active children. My topic's going to be about secondhand smoking and how it affects families and children alike, and how that could affect the transition from children to teen and so on when it comes to physical activity or any day life. Secondhand smoking could lead to asthma attacks in infants and children, respiratory infections, ear infections, and sudden infant syndrome, death syndrome, or SIDS. How does this relate to physical activity? Well, as a child, some adults don't really take in that when they smoke, they also cause uh, they also cause secondhand smoke that, if inhaled by a children or even a teen, their lungs won't react the same to the people who are smoking, which their lungs are already adapted to the smoke. So it hurts their lungs, and it turns up that they could end up with asthma and have asthma attacks due to that. And it could get worse in some cases if the children receive enough or inhale enough amount of smoke. Examples for how it's being handled is in Britain. In 2008, they made a law to ban smoking from enclosed areas, and they use that for restaurants and houses. And when I searched up in the Los Angeles Health Department of Public Health, they made a survey. It didn't say when, but the community wanted no smoking areas, and the health department said that there wouldn't be any smoking at all in public areas like parks or restaurants or places where kids could be at, as well as possibly boats, cars. Even if you're the passenger, you can't smoke in the car. You also can't smoke at a balcony because possibly it could go through vents and go into the houses where children live. So they took that into consideration as well. What can we do? I was thinking maybe we can all think about the future generations and not smoke. I know it's difficult for some people, but it's better off in the future to not smoke, because smoking reduces your life expectancy a lot, especially because your organs are getting damaged due to that smoking. Thanks for watching.
Any questions?
I think that one question I have is, this is great, thank you. And obviously our main audience, all the work we're doing is you guys, the teenagers, the students. But it seems like one, and there are others like this, where having families involved in the conversation is important as well. How would you like your parents or parents of students to take this video, or how can we reach them with this message?
You kind of lagged out for me, sorry, but I'm gonna try to go off of what I heard. I think a way we could introduce this is by having, I don't know, depending on how COVID's doing right now, we could either do like a little Q&A thing where we talk about it, a podcast, maybe me talking about it a little more. Or if COVID wasn't around, then we could have done like a presentation with families invited to see what we're talking about. And I could show possibly, if I had the time, to make like a little model of lungs, like before smoking, after smoking, or like also a different model showing secondhand smoking on children and how that hurts their lungs. But yeah.
Hi, Emanuel. I enjoyed the video very much. And I was wondering if in your research, you came across some of the same statistics or concerns for vaping. I haven't really heard the term secondhand vaping at all. And I'm wondering if maybe you came across anything like that that could be applicable to this in terms of vaping versus smoking.
Vaping, based on like all the ads and everything I've heard, it's sometimes even worse than smoking because you inhale toxic particles into your lungs. And I believe that even if you inhale them, you're also going to exhale them. So it would be the same and even worse than inhaling smoke from regular cigarettes because you're also inhaling those toxic particles into your lungs. But I didn't really come across that. I came across like marijuana and like other drugs that you could smoke. I didn't research to depth in vaping, but I kind of knew what was up with vaping.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are folks seeing more vaping these days? Is that kind of on the upswing? It definitely has been in our part of the world.
Yeah, it definitely has. Supposedly it seems more modern and kids or teens go towards the modern stuff instead of the old stuff. And I feel like that's a reason why they do it. Plus, for some reason, vaping is starting to have it, so there's flavors to it, and that attracts children to be interested in it. And that's good for business, bad for the children.
Thank you, Emanuel. I think you hit on something with the flavors. I was having a conversation with some of my students, and some are on right now, but they were talking about how hookah is now the move. I don't know if it is in your world. So cigarettes are definitely like not as popular. There's a vaping pen or something like that, but I don't know the difference between the hookah. And I know you mentioned you didn't do extensive research on it, but you know any?
I've seen hookahs. You put like something in it. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a big jar-ish. I've seen them. I went to the park once and I saw one at a like bench. I was like, oh shoot. But I've never really thought about that one. But I've seen how it works and everything, and it seems like you inhale even more than how much toxic things you would inhale with a cigarette or a vape, although it might be a little descaled when it comes to the toxicity of the toxic metals and all that are in vaping, but it could still possibly kill you in excess.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, our next presenter is Samara. She is a 10th grader. Go ahead and take the floor, Samara.
Hi, you guys. I'm sorry my camera's not working, but today I'm going to be presenting on social awareness and how to have a good social support system and how to spot toxic friends. So tell me if you guys can see my screen. You guys can see it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so having a healthy support system plus being able to spot toxic friends created by me. So what is a social support system? The clinical definition is a social support is the perception and actuality that one is cared for, has assistance available from other people, and most popularly that one is part of a social support network. A social support system is usually made of family, friends, and peers. And what does this mean? A social support system / group is a group of people that are close to you that can give assistance and give.
Can't hear you.
Samara, your audio cut out. Are you with us?
She's not with us, I think.
Samara, are you there? All right, I think Samara got booted. We've got some really high winds here, and the Wi-Fi in Paramount right now is cutting in and out for a lot of our scholars. So I have a feeling that Samara might be back with us, and we can jump back into her presentation when she returns. I think, let's see. So Maria, do you want to transition us from there?
Well, wasn't she our last presenter? We only had them 3 lined up.
Yes. So let's see. Elliot, do you have some announcements that you'd like to make?
I'm hoping that Samara comes back, but yeah, I do. And I didn't know if we were done with questions from Emanuel yet. Just opening that up for a second more, because I had a question as well. I don't know if anybody else did before we get to a couple of announcements and things that we'd like to talk to everybody about. Anybody with another question or so for Emanuel?
Yeah, Emanuel, I wanted to say that I loved your topic. I think that it's something that isn't talked about that much, and especially how somebody brought up the point about, you know, the vaping secondhand smoke, and you were able to include your studies about the marijuana and things like that. So I think it's a very important topic just to bring forward and to see and to have other kids see another, you know, see their peers talk about this, that it isn't just adults talking about it and kind of preaching at them about this topic, that it's a peer talking about this topic. So I wanted to really acknowledge that, your choice of topics.
Thank you.
Mhm.
The reason I chose this topic was because, well, for me, it doesn't affect me that much, but for like some of my friends, it does. They have asthma, and then they, well, one of them, she grew up in a place where her neighbors would smoke a lot. So that's how she ended up getting asthma, and it's rough on her. She plays soccer just like me. So it
I'm so sorry, I got logged
takes a
out.
toll on
I
her.
had Wi-Fi problems.
Samara, it is no problem at all. We are all in this together for sure. We've all been there.
Yeah, the worst part about it is I was still presenting and I didn't know I wasn't presenting to anyone.
That happens.
Yeah, it definitely happens. Well, we're here, and go ahead and take your time, get set back up. Some folks are just asking a couple more questions to Emanuel. So just ease on in whenever it works for you, Samara.
Okay, I'm ready now if that's not a problem. I'm still on the same slide, so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen then. So we're gonna just jump right
Hold on one second.
Wait, I don't know. I don't think Emanuel is done yet.
Yeah, we'll finish up with Emanuel and then.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So were you done, Emanuel, talking about how you got into this? You left off at soccer, I think.
Oh yeah, that one of my friends and I play soccer, and she has asthma, and it takes a toll on her whenever she's running back and forth around the field. And for me, it happens the same way, just that maybe I don't have asthma, or not to the extent that she has it. because whenever I go to the park for practice, I maybe inhale like some smoke from somewhere that I pass by. And then when I get to the field, my lungs, they start hurting. And maybe that's for the exertion that I'm using on my lungs, plus the smoke acting upon my lungs, because I inhaled it. But yeah, I don't have it as bad as people with asthma.
No, it does impact all of us. And I've noticed when I go to Los Angeles in the last 3 years, since the environmental regulations have been eased, the heaviness of the smoke in the air from the petroleum industry as well, contributing to probably what you're feeling, although I'm not positive about it. But you can visually see a very, very big difference in what Los Angeles used to look like, how it cleaned itself up, and now it's back to being very, very, the quality is not good at all. I did have a question for you. And it's really two parts. One is, are you going to follow up with the topic that you just presented?
Depends on what you mean by follow up.
Yeah. Well, so my second part to that question is, I've been noticing, because I watch a lot of basketball. It's what I watch on TV, not movies. But the commercials have been about the marketing of the tobacco industry to communities of color around menthol cigarettes. And the impact of marketing is tremendous in all of this work. And how big industry is actually getting a lot of people very sick because they want you to buy certain products, certain foods. And in this case, it's menthol cigarettes. So I don't know if you've noticed those commercials. They're on regular television if you watch basketball, and they're very powerful. I don't know how much they do. And that's the work, they're definitely getting us informed about the issue that a lot of people really don't know about, but it's that follow-up about now what that is real important. So I was just kind of stressing that piece around, okay, here's the what, and now it's the now what. Now what do we do with things like that? How do you get the information out, and how do you practice? So those are really good things to think about. That's where I was going with this, Emanuel. Thanks for your presentation.
You're welcome. And I think like a follow-up would be finding organizations that help people who are smoking stop smoking. Depending on smoking or using pot or the hookah or vaping, it's all bad for you, and helping them get rid of that maybe addiction that they have, that would have been a good follow-up to this presentation.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
If there aren't any more questions for Emmanuel, I would like to move on to Samara's presentation. Samara, go ahead.
All right, I can share my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna jump back onto the same slide I was on. So just tell me if you can see it. Let me just press present. Okay, so how does the social support system help me? Well, right here it says that studies have demonstrated that social isolation and loneliness are associated with a greater risk of poor mental health and poor cardiovascular health, as well as other mental or other health problems. And social support has proven to help the following: improving the ability to cope with stressful situations, alleviating the effects of emotional distress, promoting lifelong good mental health, enhancing self-esteem, lowering cardiovascular risks such as lowering blood pressure, and promoting a healthy lifestyle behavior. There are lots of different types of social support, and there are four. So the first one is emotional support, and this is the most common type of social support. And this means that the people around you are emotionally supportive of you, and are very empathetic, and is willing to listen to what you have to say. And the second one is this type of support is when people around you express their confidence in you or may encourage you, and they provide a realistic perspective of any situation. The third one is sharing information, and this type of support is helpful when you need information, and people around you can provide things like factual information, such as if you need to ask for a tip in certain aspects of your life based off of experience in some in your social system has experienced. And the last one is practical help, and people who might give you practical help could help you with things such as childcare or providing money or gifts. This type of support helps people complete daily tasks. How can I create my own social support system? The first and the probably the most important is to be more social in your community, like volunteering, joining public events, or joining clubs can broaden your network and will open up a social support system with your peers in no time. And the second most important is to remember to stay in touch with your neighbors and your coworkers or your peers and scholars, because that helps to, ensure a relationship with someone that's close to you, so you always have a peer that's close to you that will be willing to support you. And the third one is to use online resources such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter to stay in touch with long distance friends and family. And my second one is being able to support toxic peers plus what you can do about it. What is a toxic friend? There's a saying about toxic friends that goes less friend, more foe, which in the case of a toxic friend is true. And a toxic friend is most likely a friend in your life that will always put themselves before you, much like a frog pulling other frogs down trying to escape the boiling water. Most of the time, toxic friends don't exactly know they are being toxic, so make sure to pay attention to personality traits that might give the toxicity away. There are 7 types of toxic friends according to scienceofpeople.com. So I'm just going to try and like blast through this because it's a lot of information. So the conversational narcissist. These types of friends are the types that will never let you get a word in when you're talking and seem to love talking about themselves or just hearing themselves talk. These types of friends are usually self-centered and inattentive to others' needs. The second type of toxic friend is called the straitjacket, and these types of friends are the ones that are likely to want to control everything slash everyone around them, and will most likely blow their top when you disagree with them. And the third is the emotional moocher. And these types of friends usually drain the emotional and mental energy out of you. And they always have something negative or pessimistic to say. And it's hard for these types of people to see positivity around them. And they usually drag other people down. The fifth one, or no, the fourth one, is the drama magnet. And this type of friend is usually centered around problems and only wants your sympathy, empathy, and support, but not your advice in any way. This type of friend usually ends up dragging you into their problems, which is always going to be stressful to you and not the other person. And the fifth one is the JJ, and this stands for the jealous judgmental friend. And this friend is usually so self-conscious about themselves. They can't help but gossip and judge everyone around them. And everyone in their eyes is always lacking something or is not good enough. This is continued. There's only 2 more. And the sixth one is the fibbers. And in these cases, these types of friends often lie about both big and small things, which can be mentally draining because you're constantly downing what this person is saying. The tank is the final one, and this type of friend thinks their opinion is always a fact and often disregards others' feelings, opinions, and emotions. They rarely see people as equals to themselves, and these types of people slash friends are usually incredibly arrogant. How to end a toxic friendship? The best way to end a toxic friendship is slowly. Here's some tips that you can use to gracefully end a toxic friendship. Doing it in person, letting the person talk slash share their views, but don't let them guide you away from the main point of the conversation, because that will just ruin the whole point. Then you won't be able to end the conversation because you'll be going through the same cycle. Don't be harsh. You may have nice memories of this person and you don't want to ruin the entire relationship, by being too straight to the point and hurting the other person's feelings. Have a goal of what you want to say in the conversation or practice what you're going to say. You don't want to stumble on your words and forget the most important parts of the conversation. Use a cooling period technique in which you have to ask to take a break from the friendship rather than end it. This will give time to the other person to open up new friendships and hopefully get bored of the one they have with you, which will result in drifting away from each other, which is what you would want in the end result to end that friendship. How does being in a toxic relationship affect my mental health? During the time period of being in a toxic friendship, you may experience feeling lonely or isolated. Stress levels may increase since reduced stress is one of the key benefits of strong friendships. You might not feel supported. Your self-confidence slash self-esteem may lower or decrease. You might find yourself blaming yourself for your friend's behavior, or your other friendships start to suffer. And that means you start to doubt yourself and may start to think that it's you that's the bad friend, which affects relationships that you have with other people. Importance of having a social support system and being able to spot toxic friends. It's very important to have a healthy support system for the sake of your mental health, along with knowing that you'll always have someone to turn to when you have a problem. And when it comes to having a toxic friendship, it's best that you end it as soon as possible because these types of relationships slash friendships can damage your mental health for the worst and even give you mental health disorders such as depression, psychological anxiety, etc. And thank you for your time. And that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you for presenting, Samara. Do we have any questions for her?
Thank you.
Samara, I just want to say that was a really excellent presentation. It's something that I think all ages can relate to. It isn't just like a teen topic. So I really enjoyed listening to it. And it was just a lot of good reminders in there about having the importance of having a healthy support system. And if there are people that are, weighing us down, to take steps to change that. So thank you.
You're welcome. The question in the chat says, do you have any advice or insight in regards to relationships? I think it's the same as being in a toxic friendship. You just want to end it as soon as possible, but you don't want to do it in a way that's not problematic, but that causes too much stress for both the people. And basically, you want to just, take it step by step. It doesn't always have to be super fast. You don't have to end it super fast, but you have to have a plan on what you're going to do so you know when to do it, what's going to happen, and things like that. Of course, I'm willing to share with your advisory.
I was just, so I'm also going to throw this out, much like both of you guys who just presented. And Maria knows this because I'm always looking for stuff for the website. This is awesome. And the resources and the heart that you're sharing in this, I so want to put this on the website. So I know, Maria knows how to get a hold of me, and I know how to get a hold of you guys through her. So I want to enhance this, like share this on the site, if that's cool.
That's fine.
So just a question, do you feel like there's things that your school is doing currently in times of COVID to support forming kind of the supportive network? Or are there concrete things that you're aware of occurring, or are there actions you're taking as a person to improve your own networks?
Yes, actually, I like to stay in touch with all of my friends, even during social distancing. So we might not be seeing each other in person, but, just a text of how are you or how was your day today? It always keeps you connected with the people around you. And, just stick close to your family because those people are always going to be with you. And that's, like if you're in quarantine right now, that's usually the people you're stuck with. So you might as well, get along with those people. And wait, hold on. Yeah, I just think my school is doing a lot when it comes to social networking because we have things like office hours and things like that. So not only do we get to connect with the teacher, but we get to connect with other students if they need help. So it's really helpful.
Are office hours pretty well attended, or is that kind of, is it halting, or is it pretty well attended, or do you, just curious how it's working?
Office hours is basically optional for a student to come after school. So office hours is something like if we need help on any subject, we can go there to work with other students or to work with a teacher if we need help or if we need extra notes. So it's pretty much optional, but a lot of students do show up after school. So it really helps with everyone because people from different cohorts and people from other villages come. So we can all kind of collaborate together.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Such an important topic, Samara. As an academic counselor and a mother of teen daughters myself, I find that this conversation comes up a lot about toxic friends. And I'm wondering what advice you would have for a young person who's coming to terms with the fact that they probably have a toxic friendship in their life, but they don't have an extensive social support network. And they might fear the loneliness and the isolation of removing themselves from that toxic friendship and then feeling like they don't belong too much else.
Yes. I think that ending the toxic friendship / relationship would always be best for both people in that relationship because from experience in people's lives that I've experienced, like I've seen it happen to people that have had toxic friendships and relationships, and that always kind of ends up to domestic violence. And that's something no one really wants to be a victim of. So it's best if you can end it as soon as you spot the signs, because that's something no one ever should have to go through, because that's not the thing to do, you know?
That's a great point about the future relationships that they might have and maybe accepting pretty poor behavior from people who they have relationships with further down the line, that it could increase to an even higher level. So I think that's a really important point you just pointed out. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
I just have a quick comment, question, follow up, whatever. First of all, thanks for a great presentation. Once again, awesome information, encouraging suggestions and wonderful graphics. But just want to follow up on the point. I think I couldn't tell who was speaking. I think it was Dan who asked that question about what schools are doing. And I do think big picture schools do a great job of this, of connecting kids and reaching out. But I really think we need to do more now. And I want to challenge all of us, because this is always an issue, and everything from toxic relationships to loneliness, but COVID has intensified and technology's massively intensified it. And I have plenty of students who are not in real toxic friendships. They just remove themselves from almost everything. And as you pointed out in your presentation, this can kind of build on itself, and you lose confidence and kids just sort of shrink away. And I'm seeing more of that, and we as a staff do a wonderful job, but we need to really pull kids out, not have office hours. And I think this is a great way to do it. We could have full walking clubs, workout clubs, food clubs. There could be another way to sort of pull kids in.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if it's actually true, but I know Paul has the garden, and I know that some students do still show up to school to help take care of the garden. I don't know if that's completely true because I haven't done it, but I've heard something like that. And we have this orientation thing in the first weeks of Odyssey. So we all spend the same advisory together, and we have this thing called Olympics where we all kind of come together as advisories different years, and each year battles against each other. So it'll be like, oh, class of 2023 against class of 2022, which is something we do every year at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. So it's like really fun, and it really helps us meet new peers, especially with the new freshmen coming in. Like this year, usually freshmen come in and they interview the sophomores, which is us this year. So we got to answer questions and stuff like that. So I feel like it really connects every single class.
Very good.
Is there any more questions? If not, Elliot, we can move on to your announcements.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you, Maria. There's a lot of things that I would like to say, but I want Asari and Andrea to have a few moments. So thanks to Odyssey and the scholars and Paul. If you thought about the last bunch of webinars, they actually covered, I don't know intentionally or not, all the 6 measures. They spent quite a bit of time on exercise and plant-based and food, and now avoiding harmful substances and healthy relationships and mitigating stress and sleep. All there. I love that it's hosted by students. The presentations are by students, for adults and students, and that's what we set off to do at BPLiving. And the website and the app and the social media is all co-designed by students. Students aren't represented, unfortunately, in the health arena around lifestyle medicine, and therefore it's all geared towards interventions and reversals. It's geared towards adults, and our work is to get students to be activists around this work, around health, and their word would be prevention. In many cases, as Emanuel pointed out, students already have issues with their health that can be reversed and prevented by these 6 measures in large part. If you can't do these, the other stuff isn't going to play out well in school. Academic performance, we all know that. These are so intertwined and connected. So thanks to the Odyssey School for doing this and taking the lead. And the idea is to have every school be doing this internally, and also out to their community and out to the big picture network. To that end, Andrea and Asari and the students have a contest to talk about, and to get as many of our students and staff connected to our social media and website. So I'm going to let Andrea and Asari say a few words. This is fantastic. It's taken us a while to get here. I wish it wasn't in COVID and we weren't on a screen and we were more face-to-face, of course, because it's so personal, but this was we're really getting there. So thanks to everybody. Asari, are you there, Andrea?
I'm here. I don't think Asari was able to make it.
Okay.
Hi guys. So we are doing a contest, and there will be more details sent out about it probably this week. Starting February 1st, we're going to do a 6-week contest where each week is going to be a different measure, and it's going to be all social media based, where so say, for example, week 1, so February 1st, will be how are you integrating fitness and physical activity into your daily life. And we're just asking people to share photos or, little stories or whatnot on Maria, we're doing Instagram, right? Yeah, on Instagram or TikTok, which Maria is introducing me on how to actually use TikTok. You get bonus points for TikTok, but it's not necessary. So we're going to do it for the whole week. For the whole week, you can enter as many times as you want by posting a photo or like a little comment or whatnot. There'll be rules on the site and then distributed on our social media. So if you are not following Big Picture Living on social media, like on Instagram, follow it on Instagram. It's actually a really, really cool Instagram to follow. Every Tuesday, we have Tip Tuesday, and it's where students are sharing their tips around the 6 measures. On Thursdays, we do Try It Thursdays, which is student projects for you to try. We're highlighting student work for you to try on your own. And if you have projects that you want to highlight or tips you want to share, you can either reach out to me or Maria or Isari, and we will get it up on the site. So we're going to start doing this contest. And it's going to be 6 weeks. And at the end of 6 weeks, so we're not doing person-based. It's going to be school-based. Okay? So it's going to be like, say the first week's all about fitness or whatnot, and you're sharing all that. And then the next week's all about cooking, and your school's all about cooking. You guys can like really change the leaderboard in this. And at the end of 6 weeks, whatever school has the most entries gets $1,000. Yay! So that's basically the contest. There's no right way to participate, there's no wrong way to participate.
Andrea, you were talking about the Instagram. Do you also have Facebook, or is there Facebook for?
Yep. We have Facebook,
Twitter,
and Instagram. Yeah. So if you go to the website, and then I'm just going to dump the website, and then click on the little like icons at the bottom. That's how you can start following us on different platforms. TikTok is up there yet.
Okay.
Also, I don't understand TikTok. I'm going to be honest. I don't get it. I will learn.
I will explain.
Thank you. I'm excited for our Skunkworks meeting because I have many questions about TikTok. The other thing I do want to throw out, we've had great students participating in the Skunkworks meeting. If you guys have any students who have not been able to attend or would like to attend, just sort of a brainstorming session around how to get your schools, how to get your peers, how to get everybody involved in these 6 measures, I encourage them to join our Skunkworks meeting. It's kind of fun. We sit and we chat about stuff. If your students cannot join that time and you guys still chat about things, shoot me an email. This morning I met with students in Mumbai. It was awesome. They're like, we want to do a better cookbook than the one they're doing in Rhode Island. And I was like, how do you want to do it? Like, that was exactly their words. They're like, we want to do a better cookbook than Rhode Island. So they have some ideas, and it might be one-upping the Rhode Island cookbook. But I'm here to help. And sorry, and I
Bring that back to
The competition is real.
Competition is real. We're gonna see who wins after 6 weeks.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pop my email.
So we can send everybody the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, platform sites that and the IDs for us to follow. We'll do that this week. That's a good point. And we talk about that a lot, how to get people to follow, but more importantly, produce at the local level at their schools to change things. So all good. Thanks, Andrea. I'm going to turn it back over to Maria, and I think we're a little over time.
Well, I think that would conclude our meeting. Thank you everybody for coming, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation my peers came up with. See you next webinar.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.